Welcome back after the break. Let's continue looking at some of the questions that you might expect during your final exam. This one is understanding tables. Now, especially in question 3 and 4, they might give you a table with a set of information. Now, this table over here, you see on my screen, is showing the mineral production in South Africa. So this is all raw material. Now, what's actually crazy about it, like I've mentioned before, South Africa is extremely rich in minerals. As you can see, for instance, coal, our position, we produced we are the fourth biggest producer of coal in the world. Diamonds, the second biggest. Platinum, the biggest, as well as chromium. So we have quite a lot of raw materials. If you look at the SA's percentage of world production, so if you look at it, 76% of all chromium comes from South Africa. 79% of all platinum comes from our country. Crazy if you kind of think about it. Now let's look at the questions regarding this table. What economic activity does the extraction of minerals fall into? Now, removing minerals is known as primary economic activities. As you can see, like we just discussed when you look at this table, South Africa is a major mineral producer. State 3 factors that favor mining in South Africa. Now, we've discussed them before. We have a very large unskilled and skilled labor force in our country. Now, if we look at another reason that plays a huge role, we have a large population and we have got large markets as well, close to the resources. And our third reason is we have well-developed infrastructure. So that promotes mining in South Africa. And when I talk about infrastructure, I'm talking about our roads, I'm talking about electricity and water supplies. State 2 reasons why mining is important in South Africa. Now, first of all, the most important reason, it creates employment. So it gives people opportunity to earn an income and provide for their families. And it creates foreign income for the country. And with the foreign income, it means our government can spend more money on infrastructure and on service delivery in our country. Now, believe it or not, what major mineral mine in South Africa is not listed in table 4.4? Believe it or not, that's the mineral that puts South Africa on the map, and Johannesburg is named after it. The city of gold is gold. That's not mentioned over there. Now, the last question, question number 4. The price for platinum increased dramatically, but has decreased again. What problems does this price fluctuation cause for the platinum mines? Now, the reason why the platinum mines, there was a massive price fluctuation is because there was unrest on the mines regarding strikes, and unfortunately people don't want to invest in them anymore. But what does it create? It will cause productivity to decrease. And when productivity decreases, it means that we will experience job losses or job cuts. And that will lead to unemployment. And unemployed workers. And that can be of great concern because that means the standard of living of those mine workers will decrease. Now, our next activity comes from an old question paper. If we quickly look at this diagram, that was our first topic that we discussed, was the primary circulation of air. If we just quickly fill these lines in, this is the equator situated over there. This is a subtropical high pressure belt. This is a subpolar low pressure belt and the polar high pressure. Now before we're going to look at the questions, just quickly look when we look at the pressure that's being experienced over there. Now what type of pressure do we experience at the equatorial regions? The low pressure. Why? Because of extremely warm conditions. The air rising, diversions taking place in the upper atmosphere, the air sinks, and we have our high pressure belt situated over there. Let's just quickly fill in high pressure over the polar regions. We experience it over there because of extremely cold temperatures, and then there's convergence taking place with our subpolar low pressure belt. Now if you look at the questions that follows on page, second slide, the name given to the winds that converge at A is the westerlies or the trade winds. Let's quickly go and have a look. Now what do we know? How do winds exist? Air moves from a high pressure to a low pressure. Because of Coriolis force, what happens? The air is deflected to the left. So what do we have there? North, east, south, west. Over there, deflecting, moves from a high pressure to a low pressure. Now these winds that converge, and the winds they're talking about, discussing over here, is these winds over there. The area where they converge, what do we know this? The ITCZ, Intertropical Conversion Zone, and that is known as the trade winds. So the correct answer there will be trade. Now the 0 degree latitude is a low or high pressure belt. We already filled it in when we look at that diagram. 0 degree, that's a low pressure belt. Why do we experience low pressure over there? Because the equatorial regions gets most of the insulation on the Earth's surface. The insulation needs to travel much further over there. So the equator experiences low pressure systems. Now what's low pressure? It's rising air, usually because of warm conditions. So the correct answer for that question will be low pressure. Now the name of the boundary at 60 degrees where two masses with different characteristics meet is known as the cold or polar front. Now we only experience a cold front where mid-latitude cyclones. The polar front is situated over there. Because what do we get over there? We've got cold polar air coming from that side, and we got warm air coming from the subtropical high pressure from that side. Now what is a front? It divides two masses of air. And this area over there at the 60 degree latitude is known as the polar front. Let's quickly fold that in. The pressure belt at sea is the subtropical or the subpolar high pressure belt. Let's quickly have a look at sea. Where do we find sea? Situated over there. This is the subtropical high pressure belt. And this is where South Africa is actually situated. So let's quickly fill that in. High pressure belt. The ITCZ is located around the area labeled A or B. Now we just discussed it, the ITCZ, Intertropical Conversion Zone. Let's quickly have a look at A and B. Where's A? This area over there. And I've written just a couple of seconds ago the ITCZ. So where convergence takes place from the subtropical high pressure belt. So the correct answer over there, the IT is located at A. The cumulonimbus clouds associated with pressure belt, definitely A. Why cumulonimbus clouds? What happens at A? If you quickly look over here, this convergence, rising air takes place. Now it's warm air, so cumulonimbus clouds are going to form over the equatorial regions. Definitely not at sea, because what do we experience at sea? Subsidence, sinking air. So unfortunately we can't have any cloud formation when there's strong subsidence. And at the high pressure belt, we experience a high pressure area, and we will definitely experience cumulonimbus clouds because the equatorial regions is tropical, a lot of moisture, and nimbus means rain clouds. And as you can see, your highest rainfall areas is usually along your equatorial regions. If you look at our next question, the name of the pressure belt at B is known as let's quickly look at B. That's the subpolar low pressure belt. That's the correct answer right over there. Now our next question is the name of the pressure belt located at the 0 degrees latitude. Is definitely, we already established, it's a low pressure belt. It's the equatorial low pressure belt situated at 0 degrees Celsius. Now, our next question that we've got from an old question paper is looking at a river. And if you look at the river, it's definitely, and it's middle course or lower course, because what's happening? The river is meandering. Now, without looking at the questions quickly, look at Area A and Area B. Area A is definitely the slip-off slope. As you can see, deposition taking place. Area B is the cut-off slope where erosion takes place. Let's quickly look at the questions as being asked over here. Now, the question, they state, refer to figure 1.2 showing a river meander. Match the slopes A and B in the figure with the descriptions given below. Now, if we look at question 1, an undercut slope. The undercut slope is where the erosion takes place. So that's going to be number B. As you can see, the water bumps into the side, so what's going to do, it's going to start to erode. And as you can see the deposition taking place at A. So the correct answer is going to be B. Erosion is the main process, like I've just mentioned. It's not like we can steer the water, so that's definitely going to be B. Deposition is the main process. If we go back over there at A, on the inside bend, you can see it. You can see the debris and sediments taking place over there. Is A, known as the slip-off slope. That is also where the deposition takes place, is number A. If you look at number B, water flows faster at this point, and that will be number B, as you can see over there. Because of the deposition taking place on the inside bend, the water is not going to be that fast flowing, but on the outside bend, where erosion takes place, that's where the water is going to be the fastest. So the correct answer for 1.2.5 is B. The slope has a concave shape. The correct answer over there is B. If we quickly look at a transverse profile, I'm going to draw it over here for you from A to B. Let's say A looks like A. Let me just 100% sure. This is A and this is B. So B is where the erosion takes place and A is where the deposition. Now if you look at our final question, the slope is a gentle gradient, like I've shown you before, is definitely where the deposition has taken place, and that is slope number A. If we quickly go back, you can see the riverbed is much more shallow because of the deposition taking place. In the next episode, we're going to look at a couple of old question papers to prepare you even better for your final exam. I hope you enjoyed these exercises. See you till next time around. Bye-bye.